Hello. Today we are going to learn how to conjugate verbs in the subjunctive tense. The conjugation for verbs in the subjunctive tense has 3 steps. The first step is to take the yo form in the present tense of the verb. After you take the yo form in the present tense, drop the o from that verb. After you drop the o, you are going to add the opposite endings to form the different forms of the verb. For example, if you have an AR verb, you would change the AR to the E in the yo form, ES in the to form, E in the LAU stead form, EMOS in the nosotros form, EIIS in the vosotros form, and EN in the ellos, ellas, ustedes form. If you have an ER or an IR verb, you add an A in the yo form, AS in the to form, A in the LAU stead form, AMOS in the nosotros form, AIS in the vosotros form, and AN in the ellos, ellas, ustedes form. For example, if you have the regular verb hablar, the yo form would be hable. You've taken the yo form, dropped the o, and then added opposite endings. If you have the regular verb comer, you would end up with coma in the yo form. You've taken the yo form, dropped the o, and added the opposite ending. These verbs are fairly easy to conjugate as they are regular verbs. The reason that you have to take the yo form of the verb first is for verbs like tener, which the yo form is irregular in the present tense. If you take the yo form present tense of the verb tener, you have tango. After you drop the o, you end up with tanga. Or the verb conocer. In the yo form present tense, conocer is conozco. So when you drop the o and add the opposite endings, you have conozca. The subjunctive tense does have 6 irregular verbs that don't follow any of the rules. The verb ir is vaya, vayas, vaya, vayamos, vayan. You can see that the endings continue to follow the pattern that we have used in conjugating previous verbs, with a vowel on the yo form and the LAU stead form, an AS on the to form, AMOS on the nosotros form, and AN on the ellos, ellas, ustedes form. Ser will be sea, seas, sea, seamos, sean. As you can see, it still follows the pattern. Dar, de, des, de, demos, den. You must use an accent on both the yo form and the LAU stead form of dar as to differentiate between this word dar, to give, and the verb de, which means of or from. Saber, sepa, sepas, sepa, sepamos, sepan. Estar, esté, estés, esté, estemos, estén. And haber, haya, hayas, haya, hayamos, hayan. Other irregularities that you should be aware of when conjugating verbs in the subjunctive tense are the car, gar, zar verbs, as well as the ger and gir verbs. The car, gar, zar verbs should look familiar from when we studied the preterite tense in Spanish. You can see that a car changes to a QUE. The only difference is, in the subjunctive tense, you carry the QUE through all of the conjugations. Same with the verbs that end in GAR. The G, you add a U after it and continue conjugating. And the ZAR verbs. The Z changes to a C, and you continue that through the entire conjugation. GER verbs and GIR verbs we have not necessarily studied before, but GER and GIR verbs in the yo form both have the letter J rather than a G. So you can see the J is carried through the entire conjugation. Verbs that are stem changers will continue to stem change in the subjunctive tense, just as they did in the present tense. So verbs that end in AR and have a stem change in the present tense will continue to have a stem change in the same way, only in the boot in a subjunctive tense. So inside the boot, you have piense, pienses, piense, and piensen. Outside of the boot, you have pensemos and penses. Be careful with verbs that have 2 different rules that you have to follow, like jugar. It's a stem changer, U to UE, but it's also a gar verb. So you have juegue with a GUE at the end. Juegues, juegue. Outside of the boot, you don't need to stem change anymore. So you have juguemos and jugues. And inside the boot again, you have jueguen. ER verbs that stem change follow the same rules as AR verbs that stem change. They only stem change inside the boot. So you can see that entienda, entiendas, entiende, and entiendan have stem changed, while the nosotros and vosotros forms have not. One more example of the ER verbs, vuelva, vuelves, vuelva, volvamos, volvais, and vuelvan. And we will move on to IR verbs. IR verbs have special rules. IR verbs stem change inside the boot. Duerma, duermas, duerma, duerman. They stem change in the same way they did in the present tense, which is fairly easy to remember. However, outside of the boot, in the nosotros form and the vosotros form, these verbs continue to stem change with O's changing to U's and E's changing to I's. So you have dormamos and dormais. Or with the verb mentir, you have mienta, mientas, mienta, mientan inside the boot, and mintamos, mintais outside of the boot. This has been a brief explanation of how to conjugate verbs in the subjunctive tense. Thank you.